Hello everyone. So welcome to this next session on percentages.
In this session, we'll talk about the basics of percentages and we'll discuss that now in detail. We have already done a small part of this in our previous session, so we'll continue with that one. So if I give you a question like that, what is 25% of 648? We have already discussed it in the previous class as well. It is 648 into 25 divided by 100, and you know 25 by 100 is 1/4. So calculating 1/4 of the number would be easy to calculate. So it will be 162, right? So this is how we get 25% of 648. So normally when there are variables, how do we write them? I can also write 25% of x as 0.25 times of x or 1 by 4 times of x. We call this as a multiplying factor, this 0.25 as a multiplying factor, because this will make our job easy. Whenever I see a number is being multiplied with 0.25, I can immediately say it means 25% of the number. Similarly, if I say what is 37.5% of x, so obviously you will say it is 0.375x. And how do we get this? It is actually 37.5 divided by 100 into x. So to get this multiplying factor, what do? We divide by 100. And when you divide by 100, basically the decimal point, it shifts 2 points to the left. So 2 point to the left shift, okay, it becomes 0.375. Similarly, if I say what is 9.8% of x, I would say it is 0.098 times of x, because again, when the decimal shifts 2 points to the left, so 2 point left jaane mein, there would be 1 0 here and it will become 0.098. This is the multiplying factor which will be used a lot many times in the questions. Similarly, if I say x is increased by 35%, x is increased by 35%, can I say it will be equal to 1.35x? Because when I say x is increased by 35%, it is x plus 0.35 times of x, or you can also say it is 1.35 times of x. We'll be using these things directly in the questions, and at that moment it should not come to your mind that where from this 1.35 came. So keep this in mind that x is increased by 35% means, as we have already discussed in the previous class, percent means per 100. So when it is increased by 35 per 100, it becomes 135. And then again, the way we did it here or here, 1.35, 135 ka decimal point, when it goes 2 points to the left, it becomes 1.35 times. Similarly, if I say x is increased by, let's say, 120%, so that means x is increased by 120 per 100, it will become 220, right? And decimal goes 2 points back, it becomes 2.2x. So whenever x is increased by a certain percentage, what do? This is what I have written over here. Okay. Similarly, the way we have talked about increase, उसी तरीके से if I say x is decreased by 37%, that means x is decreased by 37 per 100. So there is a decrease of 37 on 100. How much would be remaining? 63. And when decimal goes 2 points back, it becomes 0.63. So that means x is decreased by 37 becomes 0.63x. So all these are basically the multiplying factors of the number. Similarly, x is decreased by 9.5%. So 100 is decreased by 9.5. How much would be remaining? 90.5. Or 90.5 ka decimal goes 2 points back, it becomes 0.905x. So I would want all of you to just, be comfortable with the multiplying factor so much that just by looking at the multiplying factor, you should be able to tell that, okay, the number has been decreased by this much, the number has been increased by this much, so on and so forth. But here every time, whatever increase or decrease it has been made in a number. But what if I ask you about the number which, when increased by 25%, it becomes x? Which number increased by 25%, it becomes x? So here we see that normally students make a very common mistake, that if something is increased by 25% and it becomes x, so I should decrease it by 25% to get the original value. I mean, in absolute numbers we do this. A number increased by 25 becomes 70. What was the number? You will say 70 minus 25. A number increased by 20 became 100. What was the number? 100 minus 20. But in percentage that cannot be done, because I have discussed this with you. In case of percentages, the base is extremely important. The base is extremely important. So when I say a number is increased by 25%, 25% of what? 25% of that number that has to be calculated. So when you decrease x, you cannot decrease x by 25%, because 25% of this number and 25% of x, they would be two different numbers. So if you increase a number by something and you decrease by something else, how can you get the same number again? That will be wrong then. So what should be done in such case to get the value of question mark? So again, going by these methods that we discussed over here, if something is increased by 25%, it must have become 1.25 times, right? The way we did here, it became 1.35 times, it became 2.2 times. So if something becomes 1.25 times, that means to go back, we should divide by 1.25, and the value of question mark should be x upon 1.25. So to go from the left to the right, you multiply by 1.25. So to come back from right to left, you will have to divide by 1.25. I hope you are able to understand this concept. I'll take another example of the same. Let us say if I tell you x is increased, or x is, let's say, decreased, x is decreased by 30%. Sorry, something is decreased by 30%, and that something becomes x. Something is decreased by 30%, it becomes x. So what was that something? So when you decrease something by 30%, it becomes 0.7 times. So to go back to the original value, you will have to divide by 0.7. This gives you the original value of the number. Because decreasing 30% makes it 0.7 times. So going back, it becomes 0.7, divided by 0.7 times. That becomes our answer. So this is one portion in which normally students make mistakes. So therefore you have to keep this in your mind, right? Okay, let us discuss a question on this now. Pause the video here, take some time to answer this question, and then look at the solution after that. Okay, pause it now. So let's start discussing the question now. So this question says the number of girls appearing for an admission test is twice the number of boys. If 30% of the girls and 45% of the boys get admission, the percentage of candidates who do not get admission. So let's try with the first method now. That it says number of girls appearing for the test is twice the number of boys. So that means I can assume the number of boys appearing for the test to be x. So the number of girls appearing would be twice of this, that is 2x. Then it says 30% of the girls and 45% of the boys get admission. So 30% of the girls. So how many of them get admission? Now this is important, that how many of these people get admission. 30% of the girls get admission. So 30% of 2x. 30% of 2x is 0.3 into 2x. That is 0.66. And 45% of the boys get admission. 45% of x, that is x into 0.45, that is 0.45x, they get admission. So the percentage of candidates who do not get admission. So basically we have to focus upon those who do not get admission. So how many girls do not get admission? Girls, no admission, and boys with no admission. So 2x is the number of girls, 0.66 got the admission. So how many of them did not get the admission? 2x minus 0.66. And out of the boys, x boys are there, 0.45 got the admission. So how many of them did not get the admission? X minus 0.45x, that is 0.55x. Now the question is asking you what percentage of the candidates do not get admission. So what percentage of the candidates? So the total number of candidates is x plus 2x, that is 3x, and the people who did not get admission is 1.4x plus 0.55x, that is equal to 1.95x. Question is what percentage of 3x is 1.95x? So it is 1.95x upon 3x into 100. When you cancel it out, it gives you 65% as the answer. So therefore, our answer would be option D. And this question was asked in CAT 2017. So I'm telling you this so that you can have an idea that even CAT would be asking you questions which are not very difficult. Conceptually, they would be very easy. I'll discuss another approach with you now about the same question. Let's come to that second approach now. It says the number of girls appearing for an admission test is twice the number of boys, 30% of the girls, 45% of the boys. What do we mean by 30% of the girls? It is 3 by 10 of the girls, right? And 45% of the boys. 45% means 45 divided by 100, or you can also say 9 by 20 of the boys. So that means if the boys is a multiple of 20, the job would be easy for us because it will be easily cancelled out by 20. Similarly, if the number of girls is a multiple of 10, it will be easy for us. He says number of girls is twice the number of boys. I want the girls to be a multiple of 10. I want the boys to be a multiple of 20. So can I assume the number of boys to be 20? By doing this, I can say that the number of girls is equal to 40 because the number of girls is twice the number of boys. Okay. Now it says 3 by 10 of the girls get admission. So how many girls got the admission? Now we'll have to look at that. So how many of the boys got the admission and how many of the girls get the admission? He says 3 by 10 of the girls. So 3 by 10 of 40 will be 12. And 9 by 20 of the boys. So 9 by 20 of 20 is 9. So 9 of the boys got the admission and 12 of the girls got the admission. Question is percentage of candidates who did not get admission. So how many people did not get admission? I would say 9 boys and 12 girls. That means 21 got the admission. So how many of them did not get the admission is 60 minus 21. 60 minus 21 is 39. What is 60? 60 is the total number of kids that we have assumed. Now percentage wise, what percentage of 60 is this 39? If you calculate this, this will give you 65%. And your answer would be option D. So here where I'm explaining this, actually I'm writing everything, I'm teaching it to you, so it takes time. Otherwise, when the numbers are there, the job becomes easy for us because it is not in terms of X or something. So I would always suggest that go by this method where you can assume the numbers. Okay, I hope this is clear. So let's discuss another question. Pause the video here, take some time to answer this question. So the question says if 28% of 3750 is equal to x% of 2500, then what is 2x% of 1111 to the nearest integer? So 28.8% of 3750, it is equal to x% of 2500. As I discussed with you that they can always be interchanged, the percentage and the number. And if you know the values, I hope you remember 37.5% is equal to 3 by 8. 25% is equal to 1 by 4. I see 375 here. I see 2 and 5 here. So that means if I shift my percentage to these, probably this will make my job easy. Right? So I'll explain it to you slowly, but actually that can make your job very fast. If I shift it, it can also be written as 3750% of 28.8, and this can also be written as 2500% of x. 2500% of x. Now 3750, 37.5% we know is 3 by 8, right? So 3750 is 100 times of that. So 100 times of that is 300 by 8. So 300 by 8 of 28.8. Similarly, 25% is 1 by 4. So 2500 is 100 by 4. So it is 100 by 4 times of x, right? So now 8 3s are 24 and 8 6 are 48. So 3.6 into 300 is equal to 100 by 4 into x. And these hundreds also can be cancelled out. So it is 3.6 into 3, that is 10.8 into 4. So 10.8 into 4 gives you the value of x, which is straight away 43.2. Now, what is the question asking you? Let us move to that part. The question is asking you what is 2x% of 1111. So again, it should come to your mind that 1111 is actually 11.11%, which is equal to 1 by 9, right? So when I say 2x% of 1111, it is as good as 1111% of 2x. Now 1111 would be 100 by 9, again by the same logic. And 2x is 2 into 43.2. So I can easily cancel out by 9. It is 9 4s are 36 and 9 8s are 72. Now 4.28 into 2 is 9.6 into 100 is 960. That means the final answer to my question would be 960. So you can see now that the question becomes easy. Otherwise, if I calculate 28.8% of a number, this might create a problem for me. And once you are comfortable with these topics, you will find that you can do them very fast, because in that case, even these decimals can be shifted. I mean, if I am looking at this question now because I have practiced them. So now 28.8% of 3750, when I put a decimal here now in 37.5, that means I have put a decimal 2 digits before. So here I'll take the decimal 2 digits ahead and it will become 2880 for me. Now it is straight away 3 by 8 of 2880, which is not a difficult task. 8 3s are 24, 8 4 6 are 48, and it is 1080. This becomes an easy process for us. We all know that these are the same things, but the point is how fast you do them and how can you make your job easy in these questions. So I hope this example would have been sufficient for you to understand that how are we using these things. Okay, everyone. So that's all about this session. Thank you very much.